What's going on, everyone? Cubeologist here again, and today, instead of a daily average of 5, we've got an average of 12 to start the week off. Now, I didn't just do this randomly, just want you guys to know this is actually my PB average of 12 I got a couple days ago. I was super excited about it, my first ever sub 17 average of 12. So pay attention to the solves. I did some really good stuff, some stuff that probably wasn't that good because I'm not that advanced, but overall, I'm super happy with these solves. So now let's get into some of the questions you guys had from my last episode. There is a ton of them. Alright, so Sigalig says, you said you love 60 symbols in number file and have already been through college. What did you get your degree in? Perhaps science or math? I'm getting my BS in physics in a couple weeks. I actually got my bachelor's degree in physics from Elon University, and I love that school so much. But yeah, definitely physics. But even before I got that degree, I've always been super curious about math and science and stuff like that. I just love it to death. And then Looney Caveman says, do you know how I can get faster? I know full PLL and 17 OLLs average 27 to 32 seconds. Alright, so I get this question a lot. I want to kind of address it in more of a general sense, just so you guys know where I actually stand. I've thought about making a video on this, but there's tons of videos already if you guys want to do a little bit of research, but I might cover it in the future just a little bit. If you want to get faster, I know it's so cliche to say, but you need to just sit down and solve the puzzle. If you are focusing only on timing yourself and really fast turns per second, put the timer away for a couple days and just do slow solves. Do just as many solves, but watch how the pieces move. You need to learn how the rest of the cube is affected when you do a certain type of insertion, how to look ahead, how to track pieces whenever you're doing a certain move. If you just sit down and solve the puzzle without timing yourself, it can actually help a lot, and that's mainly how I've broken my sub 20 barrier. So definitely just practice with what you know and add things as you go along. So if you want to learn more algorithms, definitely do that, but just practice getting more familiar with the cube as time goes along. That's how I did it anyway. Then Lambert Keelan says, we ever do challenges against your viewers, maybe a channel-wide challenge? That's definitely not something I'm opposed to, but most of the challenge videos I've seen, I'm not that happy with. I like JR Cuber's setup, the way he does that on Cubed, but other than that, you know, I don't want to do just a bunch of 3x3 challenges or 4x4 challenges or solving into a checkerboard pattern on a 5x5, stuff like that. If you guys have any ideas, definitely put them down in the descriptions, but for now, I just want to see what you guys get on these times that I get, and that's good enough for me. Then Praetorian Cuber says, have you ever tried the ZZ method or considered trying it? And then he goes on to explain a little bit about it. And yes, I do know about the ZZ method. I know that it involves like an EO line, no rotations. You have to keep track of orientation on edges and stuff like that. And that's something I'm not really that good at. I definitely think ZZ is a great method. I just haven't really gotten into it yet because I definitely have not mastered CFOP, right? So it's not something that I want to go away from quite yet. But I think there's a lot to be learned from ZZ, especially with orienting edges and stuff like that whenever you're getting to your OLL. So I should look into it, I just haven't yet. Then Cat Muffin says, what would be your optimal OLL PLL pair, like pi and T perm, etc. So I know what you're talking about. What would be my favorite if I saw, you know, the OLLs coming up? And I would say the 6-move OLL, the F inverse sexy F prime, or small f sexy small f prime, however you do it. That one is probably my quickest OLL. And then for PLL, probably one of the U perms. I think the counterclockwise U perm is probably my quickest. And for JTSY, all I've got to say is, come on, mom. There's a lot worse things they could be wanting to spend money on. Then Jacob says, and yes, I'm not touching that last name, sorry Jacob, but he says, I'm thinking of starting a cubing channel, what do you recommend? Now I get this question a lot in personal messages, so something that I would recommend is just start. You know, when I started, I didn't have a good camera setup, I didn't have a microphone, my computer was horribly old. Things like that don't really matter, you just have to want to start. So my first videos are horrible, people don't ever watch them. If you want to go back and get a good laugh, definitely check out one of my first videos, but you just get better as you go along. And don't worry if people aren't subscribing, just keep making your videos, keep trying to get better on each one, and it typically will work out if you just keep trying really hard and improving every time you can. And then JA4NOS says, when are you going to continue the PLL series? So the PLL series is constantly on the back burner. I've been putting it off here a little bit because I didn't know what to do for U-perms, but things are getting back on track, and after I take a short break here in a couple days, I think that I will continue that. I'm probably just going to make the videos and not upload them until they are all done. So expect that in the next week or so. Then Sarah asks, are you going to nationals? I'm about 90% sure that I'm going to nationals. I still haven't registered, and I know that the hotel at the venue is actually full. So I've got a little bit of logistical things to work out, but I think I'll be there. I'll definitely make an update video when I know one way or the other for sure. Then CB Cuber says, do you ever solve in public? Pretty rarely. I kind of get embarrassed when I solve in public, and I know I shouldn't, but I think in my head I feel like people think I'm showing off. So I don't like to solve in public, just try to keep it at home most of the time. But I really appreciate you guys watching. That's going to be all the questions that I'm going to be covering today. I just really wanted you all to see this average of 12. So sorry if this video was a little bit long, but it is my PB average of 12 and my first sub 17 average of 12. Now if I could only do that in a competition, I would be extremely happy, because my competition PB average I think is a 19 point something, but it's a high 19, so definitely nothing close to this, and that was just an average of 5. But with the new cube and the fact that I'm getting a little bit faster, hopefully if I go to nationals I'll be able to beat that. So there's going to be a couple changes coming up this week. I'm actually going to Florida to see my sister graduate from law school, so that's super awesome. I'm really excited for her, but I might be uploading these not so regularly. So don't expect an average of 5 every day, but there will be a couple out, so expect that and other videos as well. But thank you guys for watching, and you'll hear from me really soon.